Hi there, John Tyler back again on a new how-to video. Today, we're going to change the old 1961, some call it a Silcock, others call it, like me, the outdoor faucet. This one's from 1961 in my house in North Carolina. And the thing leaks like a sieve. If you turn that top handle there, it's all rickety and loose. It just leaks like a sieve. So if it's always running, it's time to change it. But I'm going to change that with a new PEX one. So you see that nasty copper pipe, that half-inch pipe sticking out of the side of my brick wall? Well, that I'm going to cut, and then I'm going to clean. Am I going to solder? No. Do I have to buy a torch? No. When you use PEX, it's just basically clip-on stuff. I'm going to show you how to do it. It does take a little finesse, it does take a little smarts, it does take a few tools, but it's well worth it. So let's go out to my shop now and I'll show you step by step how to get this thing done. I'm changing this one in the front and the one out back. They've been bugging me since I bought the place. Be right back. Okay, John Tyler here with another how-to. Today I'm going to change out my outdoor faucets, one in the front of the house, one in the back of the house. So the first thing that you need to do, I'm doing this in my little workshop, is this is a PEX or Everbuilt brass Silcock valve number 161. This is what it looks like. Turn it on, turn it off, and at this end here you're going to insert this Apollo PEX half-inch, because I'm going from half-inch copper out to a piece of PEX that'll look like this when I show you it assembled. And then I'm going to stick that onto my copper pipe and boom, I'm done. Okay, so half to half MNPT male adapter is going to go, that threaded part is going to go right into here. Be right there. First thing I'm going to do before I put this into the Silcock valve, I use Mega Tape. It's like $5, but you can buy the white tape for 99 cents at Lowe's, I guess. But I'm going to take a chunk of this tape, cut it to make it smooth and straight. Then I'm going to wind it across the threads of this little adapter here. So I'll have a nice tight bond. I actually wrap it around 2 or 3 times. Some people don't. They do one. Screwing it onto the top, adding one more little bite or piece to it. And that piece broke out, so we cut that puppy off, stick it back on, wind it, one more shot, and tighten it. Now I can see the threads, so cut that. I gotta remember I'm doing this in the camera. And that's ready to put on this. Okay. So in she goes. Oop. I'm going to put it in my vise to really tighten this puppy down, because hand tight ain't good enough for me. So be right back. So these are PEX cutters. I'm going to take about that much. That's all I need. Watch. One little snip. And there's my piece of PEX. To put the PEX onto the adapter, I need to have a crimp ring. And you need, I happen to have, a pair of crimpers for PEX. I mean, I get this stuff anyway, so might as well use it. So here's the ring, there's the PEX, slipping it down onto that little adapter all the way down, And then I'm putting this ring right about 1/8 of an inch above the brass fitting. We'll grab it with this guide, open wide. That's the 1/2 inch one. Put that right around the crimping, the crimp, and force it with all my might. Locked in, out. That baby is tight. So out of the vise she goes. And there I have an extension that I can cut back a little more if I want to. There's the silcock ready to roll. It's closed right now. That way's open, that way's closed. Now, to fit this onto my copper pipe coming out of the back of the house, this one's for the front. It's a little short, stubby one because I know what I need out there. This one I don't know yet, but I want to show you the piece that's going to go on this one. Oh, shit. So this is the primary piece that you really got to get. $7.88 from Lowe's. It's called SharkBite 1/2 inch push to connect coupling. It's obvious, push to connect, no solder, no soldering iron, no expensive solder by the way, no torch, no nothing. This end, where you see that white plastic or phenolic piece inside of the fitting, that will push onto the copper, 1/2 inch copper in your house, wherever it happens to be that you want to connect your PEX to, or faucet, or whatever you're going to do. In my case, a faucet. So that end, slip that onto the copper tubing. I clean that with steel wool or sandpaper or whatever. I happen to have a little wire brush. I clean it as though I was going to solder it, even though I'm not going to. But I don't want dirt or something to get in my way of even the PEX fitting. So you put that fitting, that end onto the copper pipe, push it all the way in. It'll go in halfway into that fitting. You push it all the way in, make sure it's in there tight. You'll almost feel it click. Once it clicks, it's in. Give it a yank on that pipe. You can't take that thing out. That's why it's called SharkBite. Boom. When a shark bites your leg, you ain't letting go. The other end of it is identical to this end over here. So that is where you put your 1/2 inch blue, if it's hot water, red, the blue PEX into that end of it. I'm only using a piece like this long because my copper pipe sticks out of the building, as you already saw. And but you can run PEX 15 feet away if you want to. You can connect this stuff anywhere. The shower, you can do all your plumbing. That's the important connector. You can connect PEX to PEX using this. Anyway, I digress. So let me move on with this how-to video. And we already know we're going to stick that end on to the copper. The other end is the PEX. And then you'll end up with this result. So here's what we end up with. The first picture there is where we started out, old nasty looking copper pipe sticking out of the wall. The faucet that the handle is broken, number one, same with out back, by the way. And then it leaks like a sieve all the time. So water's coming out. And by the way, if you hook a hose up to it and then you turn that top spigot there, handle, you drown. Water comes out of everywhere. So it was time to change it, that's for sure. Been wanting to get around to it. But here's the difference between the old right there and then the new. As you can see, going into the building now is that fitting, clamp-on fitting, SharkBite fitting. And connected to that is that little piece of PEX blue, because it's cold water. And then you can see the crimp ring at the far end here. And then the brass piece that screws into the silcock front faucet, and then the faucet itself. Now I've got it propped in there. This is the front one with a stick, because you see where it says Loctite? I want to drag up a picture of that Loctite. When you're done with any project, I don't care if it's a steel railing like I had out in the back porch, and they're loose and they start wiggling out of the cement, or whatever it is that you want to seal and never move forever, get this stuff called Loctite. But it's a PLX premium stuff, 1048 I think a tube. But that's what I put in there, and tomorrow morning when I take that stick out, well, it sets up in about 20 minutes. But 24 hours later, you ain't moving that ever. So that's going to be solid as a rock. I put a little bit there on the pecs, as you can see, as well, because if you turn the pecs, it's inside of a sleeve, it would turn. It isn't going to turn. So that faucet out front is done. I'll go get the back. I'll show you the back faucet that's done too, and how I put Loctite in there, but that's tied up against the brick wall. But I want to grab that Loctite right now before I end, because this stuff is invaluable. It's unbelievable. This is the stuff I was trying to tell you about. Loctite, PL Max, $10.48 at Lowe's. A tube of this stuff it's unbelievable. A friend of mine up in Massachusetts, a builder, steered me onto this, and he said, John, if you put this anywhere, and I did, I had a railing out back, steel railing, and it was loose like this, dangerous, loose in the concrete. So I put a dab of this around that where the rail goes into the concrete, and it sets up in 20 minutes, but 24 hours later, you can't budge that railing for nothing. It's never coming out. That stuff is amazing. So what I did with the faucets, or bricks that are loose or anything like that, in fact, I've used it where bricks, you get cracks in a foundation or whatever, this stuff is amazing. Anyway, so I put this in where the faucets are. They ain't gonna move, ever. So I'll show you the back one. That's right up tight against the foundation or the brick wall. And then that's it. We're done. See? You learned something after I learned something. See you later. So that's the back faucet, right up tight against the concrete. And then I plastered it with some of that Loctite PLX. And in the morning, I didn't have to prop it, because after 20 minutes, it's set. But in the morning, that will be absolutely, you never move that faucet, unfortunately. I suppose you can crack it out with a chisel. But I will be able to sand that down smooth, flush up against the wall, which I intend to do to make it look a little better. But there it is, a PEX type faucet, all done. I had to go into a crawl space, by the way, to put that PEX line into the copper pipe. In North Carolina, they have crawl spaces, not basements, for the most part, 99%. So that's a pain in the fanny, but nonetheless, that's it. Two front and back faucets, Silcocks, whatever they want to call them, done. From the old, not working, crappy stuff. In fact, the old one here, the whole handle on the top was just broken in half. So if you go to open it up, you cut your fingers. It's all done now. You know how to do it now. I already did it now. I'll see you next time.